Hello once again, welcome to Monaco and the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT. The final table of the Super High Roller continues. I am James Hartigan, alongside me, Mr. Joe Stapleton.
Hello, my babies.
So midway through the final table of this 100K event, we started with 6 players, 5 remain. We lost Ike Haxton, he's cashed out for 313K. Ola Schemion is now the chip leader with a 68 big blind stack. Behind him, Vogelsang and Ali Reza Fatehi, with Justin Bonomo and Sam Greenwood bringing up the rear. But no one is super short, and obviously the money jumps a major consideration now. Up top, more than 1.5 million euros, with a 7-figure score for the runner-up, 669K for third, 513 for fourth, and 401,000 euros for the next player out, as we continue the action with the blinds at 30-60. So here we go, 1 and 2 in chips, Schemion and Vogelsang. Christoph flops best, top pair, but Schemion does have the flush draw.
I mean, that's just what's bound to happen, I guess, when you've got several of the best poker players in the world playing for millions of euros, and they're going to play perfectly, and it's just going to come down to who runs hotter sometimes. Christoph Vogelsang lost the minimum there.
Well, things looking better for Vogelsang, improving to trips on the turn.
Siphon says that fold is not bad. The only hands he was thinking were ace, king, aces, and kings. He loses to 12 combos of aces and kings. He has to draw against ace, king. That leaves 3 combos of ace, king, and 12 of ace, king suited, 12 of ace, king off. And does Schemion really bluff so hard with extremely small equity with shorties around? You know, I was going to say that exact same thing. I did want to say something similar to that, but I felt like it's cheating because we can see the whole cards. And I don't know if I end up having, if I have queens there. Like, I can explain it when I see them, but not having seen them, I'm definitely just going, or getting doubled through. And that's why it's impressive.
$355,000 apiece on the turn. This hand going to the river. The 3 of diamonds. So Vogelsang now has a lock on this.
Big whiff for Schemion. Maybe Vogelsang checks behind like Ali Reza did.
$1.3 million.
Well, this seems fairly obvious. Vogelsang bets 98% pot. Schemion's got jack high. No fold equity. It's a fold. It's a fold.
Thanks.
Pocket nines for Schemion, queens for Greenwood.
Great spot for Sam. Starts the hand with just under 30 big blinds. there is the re-raise from Greenwood. The 3-bet to 415,000. Action back on Schemion. Schemion shoves. And Greenwood calls all in. So he's the player at risk here, but obviously a huge favorite. It is Domination Nation. Queens, 4-1 favorite against nines.
All Schemion is going to have to call on the power of Castle Swag Skull.
Joe, it felt like an orbit ago that Schemion was chip leader.
Well, that's what's going to happen.
And if he loses this, which he will, 4 times out of 5, he'll be left with just 13 big blinds.
When you got a bunch of players who all know what they're doing, they're going to cycle around and jockey for position.
So far, so good for Sam Greenwood. Queen's holding.
7.
It is always coming 7.
You still like your turn, that's right.
Yeah. Still doing okay.
7.
Now boon the 9 of spades.
No 7, but it is a jack.
And now the queen's dead. That's good.
That's good.
Queen of spades is dead.
Queens and 7s, the cards that are working for Schemion, the cards that Sam Greenwood needs to fade. Is Andre Latau correct? Is it always coming 7? Not this time. Greenwood gets the double up. Schemion is now the low man at the table. Greenwood's now second in chips just behind Christoph Vogelsang. Things now changing very quickly. Now the stacks are getting shallower at this Super High Roller final table. So this is hand 87, 6 deuce against 3 deuce, and oh my word, both players flopping 2 pair.
There's only one way this is ever going to go, given the stack depth.
This is going to be a shame.
Bonomo was looking to win his second Super High Roller here in Monte Carlo. It's now looking highly unlikely. He's been cooled big time on this board. Just a call from Ali Reza.
Turns out he does have a slow play gear.
It's a really nice card for Bonomo to keep betting just because he can represent that he's trying to get folds. I just don't see anything happening other than bet, and all in on the river, provided it's not an ace or a 6.
You don't think it gets in before that sometimes?
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
But if he just calls, then Bonomo's always going to be value betting this hand.
225,000. More than 2/3 pot.
Are you at all suspicious if you get flatted twice?
No, not at this stack depth, really. I mean, he's not going to have a lot of hands that he wants to slow
So
play.
you can be suspicious, but at the stack depth, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I mean, you just have 2 pair blind on blind. You have 15 big blinds. This is pretty sick when he does shove the turn because he's not going to be doing it very light, but when you have 2 pair, you just have to call.
Right.
Yeah, you got cooled, Bonomo, and there's only 1 card to come, and you only have 2 outs.
I think Justin kind of just knows there's nothing he could have done there.
Ali Reza's friends really hoping that 6s and deuces hold.
It's been like 80 hands since we've lost a player, right?
It's been pretty much 4.5 hours since Ike Haxton busted in 6th place. We could be losing Bonomo unless there is a 3 on the river. Boom. We are down to 4 players as Justin Bonomo exits, cashing for 401,000 euros. And Ali Reza Fatehi, the only amateur at this final table, has just taken the chip lead, up to 3.65 million.
Have you ever tried streaming?
I did a little bit when I lived in London.
Yeah.
And my gimmick was that I wanted to do no delay.
Okay,
cards
so
up.
it probably didn't make much of a chance. Difference to your chances to win, right?
No, not really. And then I was told that that for game integrity reasons I couldn't do that. And so then what I did was I made like a card capper for my cards, but I made it out of 2 aces. So every time someone came into the chat, they thought I was getting dealt aces every single hand.
That'd be nice.
Am I right in thinking that when you were still living in New Jersey, you were playing on PokerStars NJ and you were streaming cards up with no delay and you made a final table and got heads up?
I got 2nd place, and the guy who won was also streaming and watching my stream. So
a little bit of a disadvantage. This is a hell of a flop for Vogelsang.
Yes, just picking up the action here. Vogelsang opened under the gun, 2 callers. And he has flopped the straight. Greenwood with top pair and a straight draw. So it's a C-bet of 200,000.
I never did it with enough consistency, though, was the thing. And I totally agree with you that, you know, having a personality helps, but also I think more important than that is just being there.
There's certain names in the poker world, if they were to stream, they'll automatically have an audience.
Sure.
But if you're not one of the top very elite guys who plays the highest games, you really just got to put the work in. Kind of like anything else, I guess. Greenwood is in a pretty tricky spot here just because Vogelsang covers him and Ole Schemion so short. So whilst he has a quite strong hand with 2nd pair and an open-end straight draw, he's certainly going to be looking to try and pot control here as much as possible.
Obviously, it's 2nd pair for Greenwood, my bad, but still a hard hand for him to get away from, and we can see he's drawing dead to an outright win. There's a 7% chance of a chop.
$5.75.
In his head, Greenwood's probably be pretty happy to river an 8, but it would be an absolute disaster for him. $575,000.
Another jack, also an improvement he doesn't really want to make.
So this hand going to the river, 2 million in the middle. 4 of diamonds pairs the board.
I don't think Vogelsang's going to be very happy about this river card. I'm not sure if Greenwood's going to 3-bet pocket queens or pocket jacks, and certainly not pocket 9s pre-flop given the stack sizes. In normal circumstances, he's nearly always 3-betting these hands, but just with Ole being so short, he might elect to flat these hands, and therefore he's going to have some boats in this spot, and he's not going to have a lot of hands that can now call the river. In saying that, I do still expect Vogelsang to bet. I'm just maybe not all in, which I'd imagine is the size he was hoping to use on the river.
So James, just for the dynamic here, so the clock just ran out, which means after this hand, Elise is going to take at least 1 time bank card
from
Christoph.
Correct.
Okay.
So he is now being counted for every 30 seconds he uses.
I take another card.
Correct.
And if he goes over his allotted cards during this hand, does his hand get mucked?
He will be counted down to that happening.
1.1 million.
So yeah, 1 card handed over, following the verbal declaration that he's betting at 1.1 million on the river.
Do we see a little bit more verbal declarations because they don't want to waste time counting their chips? Yeah.
It's going to speed the game up too.
I think it's fantastic.
I mean, they're going to act faster, but also you don't have to say, oh, what's that worth? What's that stack you just put out there?
And obviously we saw the shot clock employed in the Super High Roller and the PCA. What will be interesting is here in Monte Carlo, we'll see it used in the main event for the first time.
Greenwood gets away from his jack. Vogelsang back up on top.
Let's just check on the stacks of the remaining 4 players as we go to level 20 of the Super High Roller. It's got a whole lot shallower, and Schemion is now in the hyper danger zone.
Danger zone!
With just 7 big blinds. Christoph Vogelsang has retaken the chip lead and has close to 60 bigs. Yeah, we're now playing 40,000, 80,000 with an 80,000 big blind ante.
I actually want to stream more, but I've been having voice problems.
I remember the last time I
over the
ran
last
into you
few
was in
months.
Prague. You were on the very expensive
Yeah,
money.
and so you, you know, you're talking nonstop for 5-6 hours. So I've been having to save my voice for actual paid work.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I look at what you guys are doing, and I have to admit, I'm a little jealous. I like performing. I like, you know.
Would it be a place where you could possibly practice some content for comedy, or would it not?
I think so. Once the audience was big enough, you know, to try out stand-up bits in front of like 13 or 14 people, which some of my video game streams were.
Yeah, I mean, it's tougher to get people into video game streams for sure.
And I always kind of felt like a fraud. We have an all-in and a call.
Schemion all in from the small blind, and Vogelsang with a quick call with the queen 9.
Schemion drawing live.
It's good to me.
Can't be too upset about this spot if you're Ola.
You got to be pretty happy as long as you're not dominated.
61, 39, 60, 40. 60, 40, yeah. 50, 50.
Finally got paid extras, huh?
Sometimes it doesn't.
I think Schemion suggested it was a 50-50 because the 10-7 of hearts is good to him.
Okay.
And that is a pretty nice window card. The 10 of
Oh,
diamonds.
yeah.
At least 50-50 now.
Vogelsang is going to need a queen or some running cards to make it straight.
I think if this 10 holds, he should tear the rest of those sleeves off. Full on suns out, guns out.
You're looking very confident.
You need a queen, Vogelsang, with 1 card to come.
Not a queen. 1 more 10. Trip 10s.
The 7-10 is lucky for
35,
Christopher.
right?
So this is blind on blind. Remember, Schemion's a shorty and Ali Reza's got King Jack suited. Seems pretty obvious. But no,
Raise.
Ali Reza does not shove on him.
We've seen him with a few opportunities to do that, and I don't think he's done it yet.
I wonder if his plan is to raise fold. It seems crazy, but it could possibly.
Surely not. Schemion's only got 8 bigs. And he calls.
Ole does not want to see the spades.
Only 1 spade, and he's paired his 3.
I remember the first time I learned about live cards.
All in.
Wow. Snap call with the bottom pair.
Gotta do it.
Well, right now, Schemion is a 70% favorite to double up with his pair of 3s. Ali Reza looking for a king or a jack. Running straight cards, running spades work for him as well.
It's too early.
That is the Fatehi rail.
I thought they were paid extras.
We don't do that.
That's all she wrote on the turn.
Schemion improves to 2 pair, and Fatehi is drawing dead, and Schemion gets the double up. So now, Ola Schemion, the 2016 Monte Carlo Super High Roller champion, is playing 21 bigs. Ali Reza down to 2nd on the leaderboard.
Ali Reza, Ali Razor. Ollie Schemion. Well, we know Christoph is dominated. He's going to take a look at the first 3 cards. Those are my favorite 3.
Oh.
Ace 9-9. Ali Reza continues for 215,000. Huge favorite here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Can't imagine that Christoph does anything other than ends up folding.
Service? Service, please.
Wow.
My reads are on point.
Well, this is the exception. This is going to be a very rare attempt to try to steal this pot.
I mean, if he's not up against an ace, it's going to work a whole lot. Obviously, in this instance, we see the ace-jack is going to be going absolutely nowhere. Although, might not be loving life right now. It's going to be very hard for Christoph to pull a bluff over multiple streets unless he turns some equity.
Yeah, I mean, once you get called here, you're pretty much done with this a lot of the time,
Yeah,
right?
I'd agree, yeah.
Or get raised back. As it were.
I guess Ali Reza's dipping into his time bank.
It looked like he put a big stack of chips out there. I'm sorry, guys.
There's absolutely no way he's folding the ace-jack at this point. I guess he's considering whether he wants to protect his hand, even though there's not a whole lot he needs to protect from, or he wants to call and just keep some of the bluffs in.
There's like literally 0 draws.
Yeah.
Fold.
Whoa.
Wow, it worked. Unreal.
Christoph can't believe it.
Well, he won't believe it when he sees what got folded.
Well, Ali Reza showed him he was folding an ace.
Yeah, take it.
Then Fenton is right. He can't believe it.
Well, in January 2019, we're going to be back in the Bahamas for the PCA, and that festival is going to kick off with something very special indeed. The first ever PokerStars Players No Limit Hold'em Championship. Going to be a huge 25k event, like to be the biggest one ever held. Now, there's $1 million added to first place, plus there's an extra $8 million in the prize pool, which is going to come from these platinum passes. These are packages giving qualifiers free entry to the event, plus expenses and accommodation. More than 300 of them being given away in live events and online over the course of the year. Details on how you can get your hands on a platinum pass can be found at PokerStarsLive.com. Greenwood with 10s here, raises to 200,000, round to Schemion in the big blind, who has 7-6 of spades.
Very reasonable hand to defend. I don't think we see him make the jam here. Probably a little bit
All in.
Excuse
Whoa.
me. There we go.
Just wait 3 more seconds next time.
And he's going to get called really quickly and be in a lot of trouble with the 6-7 suited.
Wow. Schemion gets it in with 2 undercards to Greenwood's pair. Domination Nation. And Schemion's going to need a lot of help.
And this is one of those spots where, to an audience, it may feel, you know, he's all in with 6-7 suited. But, of course, his objective is to get folds, and he's going to get a lot of folds. We've just spoken about how Christoph Vogelsang is going to open wide from the button. I'm sure Sam Greenwood is as well. So this, a lot of the time, is just going to get the fold it needs. But, sadly, when you run into it, you're in pretty bad shape.
It's going to get the fold a lot. It's going to be live a lot. Neither thing is true in this case.
Exactly, yeah.
18%, not terrible. Much less now.
Looking good, down to 4%, and a very strong chance that we lose Ola Schemion in 4th place. Remember, this is his 4th cash in the 100k super high roller here in Monte Carlo. 3 in the money finishes in a row. He won this event in 2016. He came 5th last year, and he is eliminated in 4th place this year, cashing for 513,000 euros.
He got caught red-handed on the bathroom floor. Swaggy. This year, it wasn't him.
We're down to 3 players, and the stacks are relatively even. 44 bigs for Greenwood, 36 for Vogelsang, Alireza Fatehi with 31 bigs. So Sam Greenwood has become chip leader by virtue of that coup against Schemion.
Thank you. No, you can take it. Just I take my water.
So super tight between these two guys,
Yeah.
so Vogelsang and Fatehi, and that's really good for Greenwood because neither of them want to reduce their stack where they become the shortest stack. So Greenwood, you'd imagine, is going to be sort of running the table 3-handed here. But we'll see, like Vogelsang might look for opportunities to get involved with Fatehi and vice versa.
Have I given a trophy yet to either Vogelsang or Greenwood? I don't think so, right?
I don't believe so, and you certainly haven't to Alireza.
Yeah, that much I know.
Ace, queen of clubs in the small blind.
I usually just root for whoever's going to give me the easiest time during the interview.
Right, okay.
And I think that Vogelsang is going to be like pulling teeth.
Nice enough bloke, though.
Yeah,
For sure. There's no edge there, you know? Straightforward, but maybe not as entertaining as it could be.
We talked earlier on, Joe, about the fact that Christoph first appeared in London
3.5.
in 2013, and I remember we sat down and did an interview with him there, and actually he's a very personable chap and actually quite a good interview.
Okay. Well, then I hope I was wrong in that statement.
3, 4, yeah.
Well, an interview of your caliber, Joe, you'll be able to get anything out of any of them.
No. Oh, goodness, no.
So Sam Greenwood has called the raise with 10-7 of diamonds.
10-7 suit has been huge today.
And the flop
Oh, boy.
is Jack 10-7 with 2 clubs, 2 pair for Greenwood. The flush draw, the royal flush draw for Vogelsang. And it's pretty much a flip at this point.
Yeah, this is a huge flop for both players, of course. And blind v blind as well, 3-handed. Every chance we see chips going on the flop, if not the turn. This might even be a spot where Vogelsang wants to go for a
225.
check raise all in. Obviously, it's really hard to make mistakes or do anything wrong with ace queen of clubs here because you just have so many outs. You have so much equity.
Here we go. Buckle up, buckaroos.
And Greenwood's hand is one which is really strong right now, 2 pair, in a blind v blind situation, but it's also very vulnerable.
Correct.
So many bad turns. So I'd be surprised if we see him flat. I think his best option is going to be to raise, and Vogelsang with so much equity is just going to put it in and we'll run it out.
There's the raise from Greenwood. It makes it 700,000 total.
.6 in the middle.
And the good news for Vogelsang is he's still deep enough that Greenwood can be raise folding here sometimes. So he might make a raise fold with something like 7-8 that blocks some of the more nutted hands, blocks some two-pair combinations. Or it's just being aggressive with like a queen 9, right? Because he has all the chips. We just spoke about Vogelsang not wanting to get overly involved. He does decide just to call with the ace-queen of clubs.
Well, this pot, 2.1 million. Vogelsang with 2.4 million behind. 5 of hearts does not help him.
Is there something to... I'm reluctant to just call there because I feel like if a club hits, then it kills my action.
Well, a club, sometimes, obviously, your opponent's going to bluff that card as well. I think the more of a consideration should be turns like this one where your equity is diminished so much and you're out of position. And Greenwood is incentivized to be aggressive because Vogelsang doesn't want to bust before Ali Reza, right? So it could be a spot where you actually end up folding too much of your share of the pot. Obviously, the easiest play is just to ship it all in on the flop. It's never going to be bad. You have heaps of outs against pretty much anything. But this might be a consideration from Vogelsang where he doesn't want to bust before Ali Reza does, and with all due respect, probably fancies himself to have an edge over that player. So like
3 million.
put it in what is kind of a coin flippy spot.
So Sam's decided to overbet the pot, putting Vogelsang all in.
Yeah. And now he really can't call because he's got a brick turn. He's not getting a decent price to draw to his hand. Unless, of course, he thinks he's ever good with ace-high. Unless he thinks Sam Greenwood enough of the time...
What percentage of the time does ace-high have to be ahead here?
A fair amount, Joe. A fair
fair?
amount.
Okay.
But like it depends. You have to expect him to be bluffing hands like queen 9 or like king queen and getting really aggressive with those a lot of the time for you to want
Which
to
he's
call off
probably
ace-high.
not doing that often.
No.
Not often enough, obviously, hence the fold.
So Greenwood now playing 56 big blinds. Ali Reza Fatehi 32 bigs. Vogelsang now the low man at the table. The shortest of the 3 remaining stacks with 24 big blinds. As we play on here in the 100k Super High Roller at EPT Monte Carlo.
So when I
playing
used
as
to
well,
work
is
on
he?
Mad TV, occasionally we would bring in a chimp for a sketch, right? We would hire a chimp.
Never underestimate the comedy potential of a monkey.
Absolutely.
If you're struggling as a writer to get a laugh, put a monkey in the
Now, a
scene.
chimp, as you know, has the mentality of a 3-year-old, but the physical strength of about 6 or 7 human beings. And they would say, when we bring the chimp out, flop straight here, by the way. When we bring the chimp out, don't ignore the chimp, but also don't pay too much attention to the chimp. And you guys right now, because the chimp, it'll tear your arms and legs off. It'll freak out. You guys are ignoring the chimp right now.
You have
And
to placate the chimp. Give him a little something.
You can't completely ignore the chimp.
Okay.
By the way, I love the little tribute to Howard Stern there. The little kind of flop straight here, by the way. It reminds me so much of the constant time checks when he's telling the heartfelt story of his wife's miscarriage.
You're watching PokerStars TV.
So Ali Reza does indeed have the flop straight. And looks like he's raising here after Greenwood bet 100,000 with his straight draw. Ali Reza's made it 275k.
And again, I definitely think Jack 8 is best to be raising here. A lot of players, when you first get into poker, you think just call, let them keep doing the betting, trap your hand. But think of all the bad turns. It's not about your hand becoming dead. It's if Sam Greenwood's sitting here with ace 10 or king 10, then like a queen turns bad, a king turns bad, a jack turns bad, an 8's bad, a 6 is bad, and sometimes you get a rebluff.
I love the huffing, the puffing, the sighing, the crossed arms, what am I going to do now? I mean, love it, Ali Reza, love it.
What am I going to do with all your chips?
Shove a watermelon in his face.
Boy, do I have enough to make this call? I don't even know. Jeez, what will I be left with if I lose?
Gang Culture points out Sam might think he's good because he's blocking both ends of the straight.
He might not think he's good with Jack High, but he may feel like it's a good spot to bluff because he, he blocks 6-8, he blocks Jack 8, and if Ali Reza's making a semi-bluff here, then it is certainly harder for Ali Reza to have the nuts with the hand that Sam Greenwood has. And if he wants to be raising this flop sometimes for value, then you have to have bluffs because otherwise you're very easy to play against. People just fold against you in this spot.
1,900,000.
So if he's going to choose a hand to bluff with, the Jack 6 is a great candidate to use.
Sam insta folds.
And that's going to take us to the dinner break. The last hand of the level sees Ali Reza Fatehi now put a bit of distance ahead of Christoph Vogelsang. We'll go to dinner with Sam Greenwood still in front, but not deep. Do you want to know how many chips Sam Greenwood has? 4.25 million. Sounds impressive. That translates to 35 big blinds at the new level. Ali Reza Fatehi not that far behind him with 32 bigs, and Christoph Vogelsang not that far behind him with 28 bigs. They're all bunched up. They're all shallow. We'll be playing 61-20 with a 120k big blind ante when we come back from dinner.
$240.
So the ante is 120k.
Correct. The same as the big blind.
Oh, so that doesn't change in short-handed. It doesn't
No,
go down.
It never goes down. That's the difference. So you're in a discount when you're eight-handed because it's slightly less than it would be if all 8 players were posting an ante. But once you get short-handed, you are going to feel the pain.
That is insane.
Oh, look at this. Fatehi's got queens in the small blind. Greenwood's opened on the button with king 8.
390.
There's the 3-bet from Ali Reza. And I would beware when this guy is re-raising.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brokeback says, sure, it all evens out, but it sucks to be in the big blind.
Yeah.
Agreed.
No, but the ante is insanely high. Like, this is very taxing on a short stack. Even more reason, not to overfold hands like that ace-6 suited. Like, I cannot stress enough, like, how profitable it is to just go all in there. That's what I don't understand. Whoa.
Yeah, Greenwood called and has flopped top pair.
I can't really fault him for calling. That was a really small re-raise.
Hopefully the overcard to his pair might slow Ali Reza down slightly. Hopefully he won't lose too much here. He has continued flop into a pot of $1 million. He bets 470k. Oh, PT Sen believes karma's at work. This is what he gets for making a terrible re-raise. Sam calls. Turn card, King of Diamonds. Well, the suit is irrelevant. Neither player has a diamond. However, it's trips for Greenwood, and in Ali Reza's mind, it's now less likely that Sam has a king.
Yeah. The only consolation that he has is that it's a diamond, but this is really tough to put somebody on a king here. He does continue betting. I can't say I don't like this. It's a very tough situation for him. The only thing that he could, be a little bit worried about is that his Continuation bet was very big, so that will push a lot of Sam's weak hands out.
All in.
Wow. So Ali Reza barreled for 875k. Sam says all you can eat. It's now all in to call for Ali Reza. And he doesn't like being pushed around. He's made some pretty questionable calls at this final table. But he manages to let this one go. Well, now we see Sam Greenwood playing 58 big blinds, and Ali Reza Fatehi and Christoph Vogelsang pretty much tied on around 17 bigs, 2 million apiece. $10-7 suited. He's flopped well with this one, Joe.
Oh, yeah.
$240.
Raised to 240,000. He min raises the button. Looks like Sam Greenwood has folded because he has disappeared. 10-9 for Ali Reza. He has Vogelsang dominated.
I like the fact that Vogelsang still min raises. Definitely doesn't need to go all in all the time. Plus, he probably doesn't mind playing a pot here in position.
And what about now with 16 big
2 million
blinds?
you have. Yeah.
2 million.
I think in this particular order of players
Call.
that he's fine with it.
So Ali Reza defends, and the two short stacks at the table go to the flop. By our calculations, Ali Reza has Christoph covered just. 15 bigs behind for Fatehi, 14 bigs behind for Vogelsang. The flop is 8-7-6 with 2 diamonds.
7-2-2.
Every time.
Can't ask for more action than this one.
The straight for Fatehi, the straight flush draw for Vogelsang. Plus, of course, he has a pair of
That
sevens.
was like, I guess I'll hop in the main one.
Hachi Machi.
Vogelsang's shot clock is ticking. He continues. 210,000. Do you reckon it all goes in on the flop, Lex?
I mean, I would assume so. You could obviously always play the nut straight a little slower, but there's still a draw out there, you know, and that kind of makes people a little bit more uneasy. And not just because it could hit the draw, but what if the turn is the 5 of diamonds or the 4 of diamonds? You might lose action against an overpair with the nut straight.
$480.
There's the check raise from Ali Reza. 480,000.
You can see that doesn't leave him a ton of chips behind. In this situation, your fold button is just grayed out. Not an option.
Yeah, there's just no way.
Vogelsang calls the raise, and this hand going to the turn. Neither player has a pot size bet behind. Turn card is the 9 of diamonds. It's the straight flush.
No way.
All in.
Ali Reza shoves, drawing stone dead.
Call.
Vogelsang calls with the nuts. Ali Reza cannot believe it.
فلاش داره. منم استریتم رو فلاپ.
Flops the nuts straight.
Nice hand.
And Vogelsang turns the straight flush. Brutal. And that
من استریتم رو فلاپ خودمم.
is the end of Ali Reza Fatehi. Doesn't matter what
More
comes on the
flush.
river.
Well, I think, I don't know,
Good game.
it's probably about the same.
Wait, more? Is that more straight flush that just happened?
He's just improved to a 6-card straight flush.
Thanks. Good game.
And Ali Reza Fatehi is eliminated in 3rd place.
Too bad he wasn't playing the dragon bonus.
1,000,003 to
کامل نیستش.
Wow, he takes it like a champ.
کامل نیست.
What a crazy hand.
What's he got left? Has he got chips left?
ببین چی خورده ها فلاپو دیدی چی برای من خورده ناتس دارم.
Yeah.
We've checked it, and yes, looks like he's got 110k behind.
هیچ جوره بل.
Chip in a chair?
All in.
All in with Queen 4 from the button.
270.
270.
Let's see.
Ah.
Good one.
اون چهارای اون دفعه رو میخواد بخوره. ها؟
Not so good this time. Although he does have live cards. Greenwood ahead with King High. Greenwood still ahead, and Ali Reza Fatehi looking for a queen or a 4 to survive.
Oh.
And that is going to end it. Now he's out. Ali Reza Fatehi busts in 3rd place.
Thank you. Good luck to you.
good game.
It is the 2nd time in 3 years that he has finished
Good luck.
3rd in
Thank
this
you.
event. That's where he went out in 2016. The same thing happens in 2018. Cashes for 670k.
That's all.
It's kind of crazy how, with an ante like this, you could seriously just be going all in for 30 big blinds with deuces. It would be fine. Be a huge win just to take the 2.5 big blinds.
Oh!
Heyo.
A set of deuces for Vogelsang. Greenwood has paired his 5, 2nd pair on board.
I mean, at least with a title like Infinity War, they're being honest about how long it would take you to catch up on everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great opportunity for Vogelsang here. Goes for value, 325k into 740k.
Pretty big bets. I like it.
Wurzen Kaiser says, dilly ding, dilly dong.
Don't you always just hope that the turn is a queen here?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, that's an action killer in this situation. Normally wouldn't be, but
Christoph, it's your turn.
900.
Thank you.
I mean, the ace is a scare card, but you're gonna have to, you know, assume that all the hands that you beat with Queen 5 will be trying to steal the pot when the ace hits. So this is not an easy fold by any means.
If you think the ace is a scare card, for those pocket deuces, Lex. You are tighter than I thought.
Greenwood calls the 900K. So 3.2 million in the middle. Vogelsang with 2.6 million behind. He improves to a full house.
I am all in.
Emmeline?
I'm all in. Maybe I'll just go for like some 1.4 million.
All in.
Vogelsang shoves. And now Greenwood has a tough decision with just a pair of fives.
Emmeline. Man, the ace pairing is really tough for Greenwood here. On the other hand, you think, oh, what is this guy bluffing? But, you know, there's 6-4, 7-9, all that sort of stuff. This is a really tough spot. I hear him say a lot of 7x. There will always be a tiny percentage in somebody's head that if you call here and you're right, that it's over.
I call.
He calls.
Wow.
It is not over.
Christoph Vogelsang gets the full double up through Sam Greenwood, and we get the big switcheroo.
Wow.
Vogelsang returns to being chip leader. Greenwood now the short stack. And you know why? It's because he had deuces. And there is that time-worn expression. Mustafa Canet, help us out.
Deuces never loses.
That's my favorite one.
Thank you.
That was haha.
That was sweet. I hate it when people don't put their time bank cards in stacks of 20.
I think he's showing them off.
He's got them all fanned out.
All in.
He shoves.
Maybe he's been watching the stream.
And Vogelsang calls. Wow. Greenwood all in with King 7, called by Vogelsang with Ace 6.
There we go.
This is the moment I've all been waiting for.
Vogelsang a 6-4 favorite to win the super high roller. Greenwood does have live cards. Greenwood will need to hit to survive. Vogelsang just needs ace high to hold. The flop is Jack 10-3. Ace high is holding. Greenwood has 6 outs, looking for a king or a 7. The turn card is a deuce. It's all but over. Vogelsang on the cusp of lifting the Super High Roller Trophy.
Exciting all in.
Yes.
Only a king or a 7 saves Sam Greenwood. The river card is a king!
It is not always coming 7, but that doesn't matter. Double up, Sam Greenwood.
And now they're practically even in chips.
All in.
There we go.
Oh. Oh.
Oh, jeez.
Wow.
Aces.
It looked like he was expecting the fold, like he was just going to have to fold whatever it was. And then he's like, just kidding. Oh, my heart just jumped.
So Sam Greenwood set for a big double up here.
I would like to see that again. His look of surprise as he almost mucks aces.
Let's see if the old adage about deuces is true and if Vogelsang can spike a set. Not on the flop. Two outs for Christoph. He will not be eliminated in this hand, but he will be left with 15 bigs should aces hold. Of course, if there is a deuce on the river, Vogelsang will have won the super high roller. Two cards, Sam Greenwood has to fade. The river is a jack, aces hold. Greenwood back in command. 42 bigs for Sam, 15 bigs for Christoph.
I mean, this is the biggest lead he's had heads up, right? If at all.
I think so.
Okay.
Let's see if he employs a different strategy. Looks like he's trying really hard not to smile.
The smile comes after.
I mean, I'd be smiling too
All
if I
in.
locked up $1 million. There's the all-in.
Oh,
And a
there we
call.
go.
Sam Greenwood calls with King Jack. So Vogelsang ahead here with ace high and will get the double up unless Greenwood can connect. Should Greenwood get there with King Jack, it will be over. Vogelsang the player at risk.
I think
See,
that's
this is a good all in.
yeah, it's the loosest all-in call I
What's
think
it like?
we've seen at this
How much,
final table.
60.
Yeah, something like that.
61. Oh. Sleepy guy's on his feet. Doesn't want to miss this.
The flop is jack high. Sam Greenwood takes the lead in this race and now has the advantage and is the favorite to win the 100K super high roller here in Monte Carlo. Vogelsang needs an ace. $10 on the turn. 3 outs for Christoph Vogelsang. He needs Barry Greenstein. He needs the ace on the river, or we finally have a winner. This final table will finally be over and we can all go to sleep.
I think this is it.
The river is another jack, and that is it. Sam Greenwood has won, claiming his second super high roller of April 2018. He won a 50K in Barcelona. He has won the 100K here in Monte Carlo. He will lift the trophy and get that first prize of 1.5 million euros. Ike Haxton was eliminated 12 hours ago, cashing for 313,000 euros. Remember, he was in for 3 bullets, so it's a pretty small profit. Bonomo went after that, but stuck around to rail Sam Greenwood. Then we lost Schemion. Ali Reza Fatehi, his second third place finish in this event. He finished in the same place in 2016. Vogelsang the runner-up for just over $1 million. Sam Greenwood the winner for 1.5 million euros. It's time to go back to the floor and time to present Sam Greenwood with his Super High Roller Trophy.
Welcome to the winner's presentation for the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT 100K Super High Roller. I am joined on stage by Tournament Director Toby Stone. What a great start to our coverage here with a very impressive final table and a hard-fought heads-up battle. There can only be one winner, however, taking home 1.5 million euros and a very shiny trophy. Congratulations, Sam Greenwood.
Congratulations once again to Sam Greenwood. Thanks for watching our coverage of the Super High Roller here in Monaco. Join us next time for day 2 of the main event here at the PokerStars and Monte Carlo Casino EPT.
First up, can't stress enough, you're gone.